Can you take us through your individual experience and the mistakes that you made along the way, or what you would change if you could do it over?
Yes, for sure. So the first mistake that I think we made as a team was it took us way too long to raise money. Like it was a little bit weird because there was like crypto stuff, and then the legal team we had like not really stalling, but like they were, I think, a bit too granular on some of the things that we're going through. Like there was like this solicitation thing where like I put out a tweet, not that we were raising money, but something about raising, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is too close to saying you're raising money." So like that completely changed how we had to structure the round, which made everyone have to do a different level of like investor due diligence and took way
Wow.
longer. And then we were chatting with VCs for way too long. Ideally, when you're raising money, you want to like be able to hard sprint it for like a month max and like raise, close, get every check in, and then be able to move forward. Because the longer you raise, that's less time that you're spending with customers and optimizing and building a product that people want to use. So my
Got it.
recommendation would be like try to raise money as quickly as possible. Go in and sprint. Don't make raising your full-time job forever. It just needs to be temporary. And I think that's something we struggle with. And by the time we finished closing our round, um, we were already starting to see signs of like the crypto gaming industry like
Going
slowly
down.
dwindling, right? Like
Hmm.
we closed our round, we started raising, I think it was like October. We didn't close our round until probably, I think it was January. Like January is when we closed around and got like our final checks in. And it was just like, yo, what like we lost so much momentum in that period because like we wanted to deploy the capital. Like the goal of
Mm.
raising money is to
Seize
like
it.
deploy it as quickly as possible so
Yeah.
you can scale up and then continue raising and playing the whole venture game. So I think that from a raise perspective, I would have want to be more. If I had to do it again, I'd be a lot more methodical and fast around raising money. It's like, okay, how much money do we need to just do this thing? Focus on that, and then once you get there, then expand. The next thing I would change is like dissecting the VCs that you work with and really making sure you optimize for the right partner. Because we ended up going with a VC that led the round because they were offering less like a higher valuation and probably a bit more freedom. But
Hmm.
I think the best partner was another VC that had been chatting with us a little bit earlier in the process. And it would have made more sense to just kind of let them lead the round and be more hands on. And who knows, maybe the business would have, you know, still been moving today. Because like one of the biggest issues we had was when it was time to like pivot from the crypto Web3 gaming world, I wanted to pivot to something more traditional, but like our lead was more crypto native and they weren't really as
Got it.
excited about pivoting away from like a crypto idea.
Hmm.
All these crypto VCs and nothing wrong with them, but like they're very heavily token incentivized because they're running VC as in like as an alternate operation to how it's actually run
Yes.
because they see social tokens and like community tokens as a way to get their equity out a lot faster.
Right
But what a
away.
lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize is VC equity is different than token equity. So when you're raising money in your crypto company, a lot of companies in the early stages, they raise on what you call a safe with a token warrant. Safe is equity in the company, but the token warrant is basically like another piece of the business that the VC also is entitled to. So now they get to double dip with equity in your company and your token. But when you launch that token and the VC dumps the token on your entire community, your
You're cooked.
business is basically cooked because now who's going to want to put money behind or continue buying your assets or be involved in your crypto protocol after they've been dumped on? And now you've lost all the trust that you've built from your company. So it basically like cripples your company.
Y-
So for
y-
us, it was like, I'm not launching a token unless I really wanted to. So
mm,
for me, when I look at how we handle the VC like selection process, I don't think I did the best job as a startup founder. And then lastly, I think that myself and my initial like founding team, we didn't always get along, in the best way possible. At the very beginning, when we were building like his very deep crypto business, and everyone's hearts were in it, like I think it made a ton more sense because like they were super crypto native, and they were all great guys, like super talented, super bright. But when we pivoted, we had to pivot the business and start doing other things. I don't think like the synergies align there as much, and we ended up breaking up and like we like I basically like paid them to like leave the company and based on recommendations from our VCs.
mm.
But what we probably should have done was kind of do the founder breakup thing earlier and see how we could amicably split because they were great guys and super talented, but I think that once the pivot happened, it was very difficult to like see what the overall future of this business was going to look like working together. And we had our own little riffs, but I still love those guys. I think they're great. It just didn't work out as a founding team. So some of the learnings that I have is just like you need to go faster. If you think you're going fast enough, you probably aren't moving anywhere quick enough. Like be quick, be efficient, be methodical. And sometimes you have to be a little bit cutthroat, right? Like you can't hang around doing any one thing too long if it's not working, if it's not
Mhm.
panning out, because what all early stage startups are doing is they are just running and conducting science experiments with money. You're basically saying, if you give me $1 million, here's what I think this outcome can lead to. Let me go take this $1 million and go on an adventure to see how quickly I can make this happen. If they don't make it happen, they die and the experiment ends. If they do make it happen, they're like, okay, that hypothesis worked. We hit product market fit and we have customers now. We need to now go raise more money to start expanding into a larger market. And what a lot of people fail to realize is your initial idea of what your startup is, a lot of the times is not what your company looks like in 24 months if you're growing and you're hyper scaling, because the business starts to build more arms and tentacles. So the biggest things I would say is like just being more methodical, moving fast, and then also hiring. Like it's so underrated to be able to understand the value that one good hire can bring versus like one bad hire. One
Mhm.
good hire can do the job of like 10 to 15 people. And yeah, they might feel a little overworked at times, but like that's because they have the ambition level that directly matches the passion for the business you are building. So I don't think we did an amazing job hiring. Like I think our employees one through five were great. But like when we started to try to hire employee six and then bring on employee seven, I don't think that like we were as methodical as we needed to be, because like we didn't understand where the business needed to go through the
Mhm.
pivots. So really build focus like energy on building like a strong company culture. Like if you look at a company like Ramp today, they have like absurd company culture. Like people see it as a flex to just work there. Once people start seeing your company as like, oh, we're a flex to work here, and like when they do eventually leave, because everyone has their own motivations, you want them to be like, I'm X Ramp, I'm X Meta,
Mhm.
I'm X whatever the company is. Because what a lot of founders struggle is like they are way too focused on their own selves to not realize that like everyone has their own motivations,
Totally.
and you can't expect people to want to stay forever. But if you become like the developmental league for the next great startup founder, then you're probably getting operator level work for like a salary, which like is better than what most companies are getting now from their employees. So don't be the guy that's like, oh man, yeah, like I don't want you to ever have any ambitions outside of our company, and you need to be thinking this 24/7. It's like, yeah, when they're on the clock and they're working and like they need to be locked in, if they're locked in and they're crushing it, don't try to stifle their dreams from taking steps beyond you, because it is a bigger advertising flex to have someone have X whatever in their name, and then basically saying like, I know this is a stamp of approval and the industry knows it's a stamp of approval, than to be like, oh man, yeah, our employees, they can't do anything, and like we don't want them being able to have their own dreams and visions. So
Mhm.
if I ever decide to go back the venture route, I'm not like, if I had to give you a percentage chance, there's like a 5 to 10% chance that like I build another venture back company unless
Mhm.
something insane just comes to mind. But if I ever do, those are the things I would focus very heavily on. So I hope
That's
a
fire.
founder sees this and they realize like, hey, if your valuation 35 mil, chop that shit by like 10, 15%, give VCs better terms and they'll love you more.